Samoa walked into the crowded marketplace, carrying his basket of yams. He was a quiet young man, known for his kindness. As he navigated the stalls, his eyes fell on Amara, a woman with a graceful walk. She was examining fabrics, her presence commanding silent admiration. Amara looked up and caught Samoa staring. For a moment, their eyes locked. Amara smiled slightly, then returned to her task. Samoa felt his heart race. He had seen many beautiful women, but something about Amara held his gaze. He lingered, unsure why he couldn't move. The crowd bustled around them, unaware of the quiet connection forming. Samoa finally gathered the courage to approach. "Good afternoon," he said softly. Amara glanced at him and nodded politely. She turned to leave, but Samoa spoke again. "Are you new here?" She paused, her curiosity piqued. "No," Amara replied, her voice calm but firm. "I live here." She studied Samoa for a moment, noticing his simplicity. Samoa smiled nervously, unsure what to say next. Before he could speak, Amara's friend called her away. She left quickly, leaving Samoa standing there, captivated. As Amara disappeared into the crowd, Samoa felt a strange pull in his heart. He knew he might never see her again, but he couldn't forget her face. Something told him this was no ordinary meeting. He sighed, picked up his basket, and headed home, deep in thought. Days passed, but Samoa couldn't forget Amara. Every time he went to the marketplace, he looked around, hoping to see her again. He began to visit the market more often, using any excuse to go. The memory of her smile lingered in his mind, stirring his curiosity. Amara, on the other hand, hadn't thought much about Samoa. Her life was filled with responsibilities, helping her father run the family business. Yet, one evening, as she walked through her father's compound, she found herself recalling the shy man who had approached her. She smiled briefly. One afternoon, their paths crossed again. Amara was buying vegetables when she noticed Samoa standing a few stalls away. He was hesitant, as if debating whether to approach. She pretended not to notice, but her heart beat faster. There was something endearing about his uncertainty. Samoa finally gathered his courage and approached her. "Good afternoon," he said, his voice steady this time. Amara turned, surprised but pleased. "Good afternoon," she replied, her tone polite. They exchanged a few words about the market. Samoa felt more at ease, though he wished their conversation could last longer. As Amara left, Samoa felt a mix of joy and longing. He watched her walk away, her elegance striking in its simplicity. He promised himself that next time, he would ask her more about herself. He wanted to know her better, even if the odds seemed against him. Over the next few weeks, Samoa and Amara began meeting in the marketplace more often. Their conversations grew longer and more personal. Samoa learned that Amara loved storytelling and often helped her father with his affairs. Amara discovered Samoa's dreams of becoming a respected farmer. They started meeting in quieter spots, away from the bustling market. One day, Samoa suggested they meet by the riverside. Amara hesitated but agreed. Sitting under a tree, they talked for hours. Amara felt a connection she hadn't expected, and Samoa's sincerity touched her deeply. Their friendship quickly blossomed into love, though neither spoke the words. They exchanged meaningful glances and shared dreams. They began to imagine a future together. However, they knew their love would face challenges. Amara's father had always emphasized status and wealth in choosing a suitor for her. One evening, Amara confessed her fears to Samoa. "My father will never accept this," she said softly. Samoa held her hand and replied, "I will find a way. I don't care about his approval as long as I have yours." Amara smiled faintly, but her worry remained. Despite their fears, they continued to meet in secret. Each meeting brought them closer, their love growing stronger. They knew the path ahead would be difficult, but they were determined to fight for their happiness. The riverside became their sanctuary, a place where their dreams felt possible. Chief Udo heard whispers about Amara's secret meetings with Samuel, and his anger erupted like thunder. He summoned Amara, demanding answers. "Is it true you've been seeing that commoner?" Amara, trembling with fear, nodded slightly. Her father's booming voice filled the room, making her heart pound with dread. "You are a disgrace to this family," Chief Udo shouted, slamming his fist on the table. "You will never see that boy again," Amara pleaded, trying to explain her love for Samuel. But her father's rage blinded him. "This ends today," he declared, leaving her sobbing in frustration. News of the confrontation quickly reached Samuel, who was heartbroken but undeterred. His friends urged him to move on, warning him about Chief Udo's power. But Samuel refused to give up on Amara. Love is worth fighting for, he told himself, determined to protect their fragile bond. That night, Samuel sent a secret message to Amara, asking her to meet him by the riverside. Despite her fears, Amara went. She told him about her father's threats. "I don't know if we can survive this," she whispered tearfully. Samuel held her hand and promised, "We will." Chief Udo, however, had other plans. He hired men to warn Samuel never to see Amara again. One evening, Samuel was ambushed and beaten, leaving him bruised and bloody. Yet, even through the pain, he vowed not to back down. His love for Amara gave him the strength to endure. Samuel recovered slowly from the attack, his body aching but his spirit unbroken. He realized Chief Udo would never allow him near Amara. He decided to prove his worth, no matter the cost. Late one night, he visited Mama Eda, the village elder known for her wisdom. Mama Eda listened as Samuel poured out his heart. She told him about a legendary artifact deep in the cursed forest. "Retrieve it, and the chief might recognize your courage," she said. Samuel hesitated, knowing the forest was dangerous. But his love for Amara outweighed his fear. Amara, meanwhile, faced new struggles at home. Her father began arranging meetings with wealthy suitors, hoping to distract her from Samuel. She endured the formalities silently, her thoughts always drifting to the riverside. In her heart, she believed Samuel would find a way back to her. One evening, Amara managed to slip away from her father's watchful eyes. She met Samuel in their secret spot and was shocked to see his bruises. "You don't have to fight anymore," she said, tears in her eyes. But Samuel shook his head. "For us, I will face anything." As Samuel prepared for his journey into the forest, he couldn't tell Amara the truth. "I'll be away for a while," he said softly. Amara sensed something was wrong but didn't press him. "Come back to me," she whispered. Samuel nodded, promising himself he would return no matter what. Samuel stood at the edge of the cursed forest, his resolve firm. The villagers had warned him of the dangers within, wild beasts, deadly traps, and spirits. He took a deep breath, clutching his lantern tightly. His heart pounded, but his love for Amara pushed him forward. The forest was eerily silent, the air thick with tension. Samuel moved cautiously, each step deliberate. Twigs snapped beneath his feet, and shadows danced menacingly around him. He whispered a prayer, remembering Mama Eda's words, "Only the brave can succeed." Determined, he continued deeper into the unknown. Hours turned into days. Samuel's strength began to wane, but he pressed on, driven by Amara's face in his mind. He encountered obstacles, dense thickets, slippery paths, and chilling howls at night. Exhausted yet unwavering, he reminded himself that his journey was a testament to his love and courage. One evening, Samuel stumbled upon a hidden clearing. In the center lay the artifact, a golden figurine, glowing faintly under the moonlight. Relief washed over him, but it was short-lived. a deep growl emerged from the shadows. A wild beast, eyes blazing, leapt into the clearing, ready to attack. Samoa froze, his lantern shaking in his hands. The beast circled him, teeth bared. Summoning every ounce of bravery, he grabbed a fallen branch, setting it ablaze with his lantern. The fire startled the beast, which backed away cautiously. Seizing the moment, Samoa grabbed the artifact and fled. Samoa emerged from the forest, battered but victorious. The villagers gasped when they saw him, carrying the artifact. "He survived the cursed forest," someone exclaimed. Word spread quickly, reaching Chief Udo. The chief, skeptical of Samoa's intentions, summoned him immediately to the palace for an explanation. At the palace, Samoa knelt before Chief Udo, presenting the artifact. "This is proof of my love for Amara," he declared boldly. The crowd murmured in awe. Chief Udo inspected the artifact, his expression unreadable. "Bravery means nothing without loyalty," he said coldly. "Your actions have disrupted my plans." Amara was secretly watching from behind a curtain. Her heart swelled with pride at Samoa's courage, but fear gripped her as her father's wrath grew. Chief Udo's eyes burned with suspicion. "What else will you do to defy me?" he asked Samoa, his voice laced with quiet anger. Samoa stood firm. "I seek only your blessing to marry Amara," he said. The hall fell silent. Chief Udo laughed bitterly. "You think bravery can buy my daughter's hand? You know nothing of what it takes to lead." He dismissed Samoa, ordering the guards to throw him out. Amara ran to Samoa as he was dragged away. "You've done enough," she pleaded, tears streaming. Samoa shook his head. "I'll never give up on us," he said firmly. Watching from afar, Chief Udo frowned. Though he wouldn't admit it, Samoa's courage had begun to challenge his convictions. Chief Udo called his council together. "Samoa's actions are bold, but boldness alone cannot secure Amara's future," he declared. The elders murmured in agreement. They debated for hours, with some urging the chief to reconsider his stance, while others argued against letting a commoner disrupt their traditions. Amara, confined to her chambers, paced restlessly. Her maid whispered updates about the council meeting, but nothing eased her anxiety. She feared her father's stubbornness. In her heart, she hoped that Samoa's unwavering determination would soften the chief's stance and bring them closer to a chance for happiness. After much deliberation, Chief Udo made his decision. He summoned Samoa to the palace again. "You want to prove yourself worthy of my daughter?" the chief asked. Samoa nodded confidently. "Then you must meet one final challenge," Udo continued, his tone firm. "Succeed, and I will reconsider." The challenge was daunting. Samoa had to cultivate a barren piece of land within 2 months. The chief provided seeds and tools but warned, "If the land bears no fruit, you will leave this village forever." Samoa accepted without hesitation, determined to prove himself worthy of Amara. As Samoa left the palace, Amara found a way to meet him. "This is unfair," she cried. "You've already risked your life." Samoa held her hands and said, "I will do whatever it takes for us to be together." Amara's heart swelled with love, though fear for him remained. Samoa began his work on the barren land at dawn each day. The soil was hard and dry, resisting his every effort. Villagers gathered to watch, some mocking him, while others admired his dedication. Samoa ignored the taunts, pouring his strength into every swing of his hoe. Amara secretly sent food and water to sustain Samoa. Her maid, acting as the messenger, relayed encouraging words to keep his spirits high. Samoa treasured these small gestures, drawing strength from the knowledge that Amara believed in him despite the odds stacked against them. Days turned into weeks, but the land showed little promise. Samoa experimented tirelessly, using techniques he had learned from elders and fellow farmers. His hands bled from the effort, but his determination never wavered. This land will bear fruit, he repeated to himself, like a mantra. Chief Udo observed from a distance, impressed by Samuel's resilience but unwilling to admit it. The elders whispered among themselves, some beginning to see Samuel as a man of extraordinary resolve. Udo remained stoic, determined to uphold the standards he believed were necessary to protect his daughter's future. On the final day of the challenge, Samuel stood before the chief and the villagers. Small green shoots had begun to sprout across the barren land. Though it wasn't much, it was undeniable proof of his effort and skill. The crowd erupted in murmurs, and Amara's eyes filled with hope. Chief Udo inspected the land, his expression unreadable. "You have achieved what many thought impossible," he said slowly. "But is this enough to secure my daughter's future?" The crowd fell silent, waiting for his verdict. Amara clenched her fist, silently praying her father's heart would soften at last. Udo retired to his chambers, troubled by his own thoughts. Samuel had proven himself in ways no other suitor had. Yet, the chief's pride and fear of societal judgment weighed heavily. "What would the people say if I allow my daughter to marry a farmer?" he muttered to himself. Meanwhile, Samuel and Amara met in secret again. "Whatever happens, I'm proud of you," Amara said, tears streaming. Samuel kissed her hands gently. "I will never stop fighting for us," he promised. Their love felt unbreakable, even as the weight of uncertainty loomed over them. The next morning, Chief Udo summoned Samuel to the palace once more. "You have shown courage, resilience, and skill," he admitted. "But love is not built on effort alone. Are you ready to sacrifice everything for my daughter's happiness?" Samuel's answer was immediate, "Yes, I am." Udo sighed deeply, torn between tradition and his growing respect for Samuel. "I need more time to decide," he finally said. The crowd was disappointed, but Samuel remained calm. "Take all the time you need," he replied, his voice steady. Amara, watching from afar, felt her hope reignite. Days turned into weeks, and Chief Udo still hadn't announced his decision. The uncertainty weighed heavily on Samuel and Amara. The villagers speculated endlessly, some predicting the chief would relent, while others believed tradition would prevail. Samuel, however, kept himself busy, refusing to let doubt cloud his resolve. Amara struggled to remain hopeful. Her father avoided discussing the matter, focusing instead on village affairs. Each night, she cried quietly, fearing he might reject Samuel despite his efforts. "What more must we do?" she whispered to herself, longing for the freedom to love without barriers. Samuel continued working on the once barren land, now thriving with crops. He began selling produce to the villagers, earning their respect. Slowly, perceptions of him shifted. "Maybe he's not just a poor farmer," one elder admitted. "He might actually have what it takes to care for Amara." Chief Udo observed these changes but remained silent. In his heart, he admired Samuel's persistence, yet his pride resisted. One evening, his closest advisor spoke bluntly. "Chief, you've tested the boy beyond reason. Perhaps it's time to accept that he's worthy." Udo's expression hardened, but the words lingered. Despite Samuel's tireless efforts and the villagers' admiration, Chief Udo's refusal left an air of uncertainty. Amara's future hung in the balance, but fate was not done testing their love. In part 2, a new figure emerges, Obinna, wealthy and determined, threatening to reshape everything. Will love withstand this new challenge? Find out in part 2. Thank you for watching heritagestorybook.ing stories. I hope you enjoyed this captivating story. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. We'd love to hear your thoughts about the story, so drop your comments in the comment section below.